Hey, good morning, everybody. Afternoon, depending on where you're at. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here in Honolulu. So, from us in Honolulu, happy Aloha Friday to everybody. Let's get our weekend started. Hey, it's kind of an interesting morning this morning. We had our inflation report, right? The PPI, the producer price index. And what that does is tells you how much prices for the producer level, right? Next week, we'll get our consumer price index. And now look, they were expecting zero point 0.5. They got 1. So it was more price acceleration than was anticipated. But this all makes sense if you think about it, guys. We're reopening. There was some good news this morning about the amount of people that are getting vaccinated. Travel's starting to happen. Life is starting to come back to life. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks, and it's starting to show in your economic numbers. But there's no reason to be afraid of inflation unless it's bad inflation. It's like everything else. There's good inflation, there's bad inflation there. Are you going to have one glass of wine or are you going to have 3 bottles? In moderation, it's okay. And that's the way inflation is. When you think about it, right? Let's put everything together now that we've got some data going into, we're well into the second quarter already. In that first quarter, right, we first saw those rates, that 10-year rate blew up, right? Remember when it blew up to 1.4 and everybody's freaked out. Then it blew up to 1.7 and everybody freaked out. And it kind of settled back down in that 1.6. That was your first indicator that inflation was starting to show its face. And now it's confirmed, right? It's confirmed with a higher than expected PPI. We'll probably get a little bit higher than expected CPI on Monday. We'll know on Monday. But it's okay because we're getting economic growth. If you have growth along with inflation, they go hand in hand. What you don't want is the growth stops, the inflation keeps going, then you've got hyperinflation. When you get to certain points on your growth, you want to see your Fed to step off this position that they're on right now. And it's about time that we start hearing murmuring about it. And guess what, right? The last Fed minutes we saw, they're actually looking towards the future for that. Now, I think they're a little long on their expectations, but we'll see how it plays out, right? You never really know until the economic data comes through. So, like I said, you saw the 10-year today. It didn't really react. It kind of stayed around that mid 1.6 level, and it made sense, right? That's your first indicator. Saying that your second indicator is proper, right? Nothing blew up, nothing got out of whack. So as long as we keep opening up states, and I'm going to tell you guys straight up, we should be thanking God for states like Florida and stuff like that took the initiative and took the risk, right? And took the public humiliation of reopening, going into full reopening. And you see it starting to work, and other states are doing it too. And it's starting to work here in Hawaii. Most things are open. The only reason we have a nice influx of tourists the last couple of weeks, the daily travel numbers are up. It helps the airlines, right? We talked about Hawaiian Airlines about 6 months ago. We recommended it. And guess what? It's a double now. And we also mentioned Love at the same time. Those are 2 airlines that really control our little regional here. If you got a chance to go look at those stocks, stock of the weeks, right? Pay attention when those stock of the weeks comes out. Hey, other than that, guys, the only thing we notice different right now in Hawaii with our tourism is that we're not getting the Asian tourists, the Japanese and the Chinese and stuff like that. But it's to no doing of the state, right? The state is opening, the state is starting to move forward, but those regions aren't allowing the travel. So, and just imagine, just with what has happened in the last couple of weeks, you see how the effect is on the economy. You see how the effect is on some of these stocks like Hawaiian Air. Imagine when that extra boost comes in. So, but it's nice, it's logical, right? It's not everything at one time. It's kind of, we reopen for inter-island travel, then for the residents, then we started allowing the mainland travelers. Pretty much any place that allows the travel is welcome to come to the state. And we have our checks and balances in place, right? Our contact tracing and all that stuff. And it just kind of snowballs forward, right? It's like a snowball getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We got a couple birds outside the window. Can you hear them fighting? It's a beautiful day in Honolulu. You guys have a great Friday. And that's a little reminder, right, guys? Look, we always get so involved in our stocks and in our market and our wealth and stuff. You know what I mean? There's birds singing out there, man. Go sing with them. On that same subject, now we can look at that dynamic of as we've progressed to this point, and this is just a little microcosm of the overall economy of the country, right? Just in Hawaii, everything's going well. Vaccinations are happening. Travel is happening, and you've still got to look forward even another dynamic of it, which is the Asian Rim tourists coming in. So it's good stuff. And like I said, man, we can thank states like Florida for taking that chance. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, put your ideology on the side. We're all Americans. Okay. And we want progress and we want prosperity. And that's how you get it, economic growth. And sometimes you got to take a chance in business, right? And these guys in Florida, DeSantis and them, these cats, they did, and it's paying off. It's a good lesson to learn, and let's jump on and let's continue. But other than that, you know, that economic data this morning, at first it caused a little knee-jerk reaction in the market, but then you saw the markets recovered going into the mid-morning, and now they're nice and green across the board. Apple's starting to participate. I've been talking about that with you guys for the last weeks, right? That, you know, we're getting these little rallies and stuff like that, but we're not getting a participation from the one that we need, which is Apple. But now Apple, it's breaking towards that 131. It looks like it's about to make a move to that all-time high at about 145. We're in an Apple play, so we're optimistic about it. Other than that, guys, we're kind of sitting still, right? We've set up that energy play for the middle of summer, and we'll let that gel a little bit. ET, by the way, which is one of the another stock of the week. We talked about that when it was in the $7. That thing just blew up over $8 this morning. Something going on with that bad boy. But it's the energy play. It's the energy play. Look, if you're getting into a play, I'm going to be very honest with you. If you're getting into a play, like say an energy play, or let's take a different one. Let's take a reopening play. If you're getting into this play, when you see it on CNBC, you're already behind the curve. Okay. By then it's getting to be a crowded trade. So your energy plays, that's why you want to set them up now. You see all your news, your financial media and stuff's kind of down talking energy, the other closings. Some countries are still closed, right? Big contributors like Germany and things like that are still closed. So they need clicks. So they got to make it ugly. But the truth is, you know, energy has come this far without these big countries. Imagine what's going to happen when Germany opens. Imagine what happens when India goes full speed. How about Britain, right, having all those problems? How about Canada, right? Canada shut down again day before yesterday. You have to be, I always teach this to the members, you know, stop looking so much at today and see how tomorrow. Always look forward. So it's good things on the horizon, guys. Let's go enjoy our weekend. Let's have a nice weekend knowing that. And let's also keep an eye on the CPI that's coming around on Monday, and we'll see how things follow through. Today's was your producers, and Monday will be your consumer price index, which will probably have a little bump to it, right? I always teach you guys, keep it simple and just what you see, right? You know, what is the best verification you can have is you see it. What do you see at the gas pump happening right now, right? Everybody's gas is going up and things like that. That's part of your consumer price index, right? Cars getting more expensive. Travel gets more expensive. That ticket that during the COVID, United Airlines had practically pay you to take, now all of a sudden it's $500 or whatever. So look, guys, let's call it a week. We'll be back next week, of course, with our daily reports. You guys have a great weekend. Other than that, let's see how the market shakes out. Before we leave, let's go take a look at the markets together. Let me pop on over to the screen sharing. And you can see we're up about 90 points. Let's refresh this just to make sure. You can see we're up about 91 on the Dow. We're up about 9 on the S&P, and the NASDAQ went green. The overvalue trade, right? The valuation trade comes into effect whenever you get these inflation signals. And the reason is the more you have inflation, the less you have corporate profits. If you're already overvalued, then you're really overvalued. So that knee-jerk reaction is to start selling those, right? And then a little sanity comes into the market as the day progresses on. And then you get this in the afternoon, right? You get a nice green day. The VIX is telling you there's just not a whole lot of fear in the market. Oil, we're playing that energy play, right? Oil, you know, if you've been watching if you've been watching TV the last few days, you would think oil is just in the crapper. But if you look at the chart, this is what I always teach you guys: go to your chart. You see not much to do about anything. It's just kind of floating around 58, 59. It's building a base. Goldman just made a call. They're calling for summer oil over $70 a barrel. So that's a nice move. That's a $10 move from here. Oil is good, right? So let's pop on back to CNBC. Let's go check that 10-year bond together. Look at that. It's right there in that 1.6. Now, remember, a couple weeks ago, right, some talk about inflation blew this thing up. Today, you've got proof of inflation, and it's nice and stable. There you go. Stop biting into those intraday little crises that the media likes to overplay. It's much ado about nothing. Other than that, you cats that are in the crypto market, you can see Bitcoin still floating around between that 55, 58,000 level. Ethereum's holding the 2,000 level, which you Ethereum players, you were waiting a while for that move, right? You were sitting at that 14, 1,500 level, and you finally got that big move up. So one that somebody pointed out, you know, I just wanted to share this with you viewers, is Litecoin. Somebody pointed out in our membership that, you know, Litecoin has a very reliable channel right now, 160 to about 220, 230. For you guys that are looking for little trading ideas, you buy in the bottom of the channel and then you sell at the top. Other than that, guys, the gold market is still on its side. You see it's stuck around 1,700 there. So let's go ahead and call it a week. Let me take you off share. Hey, let's go ahead and call it a week, and we'll rest our legs and get back into it on Monday. All right, guys. Guys have a great Aloha weekend from Honolulu, and I'll see you guys on Monday. All right, gang.